All right, my name is Jay Hassler. I am the co-chair of the Enthusiast Committee at the International Clarinet Association. And, a few months ago we talked about having a collaboration, talking about improvisation, and we reached out to the Jazz and World Music Committee. I'm not sure the name of the committee, but we got both co-chairs of the committee to be here, Mr. Alex Simu. I Googled how to pronounce everybody's name. Oriol, well, I got that when I talked to you. Marès, is that correct?
Very good, very
Oh,
good.
okay. I worked hard on that. And they both live in the Netherlands. Alex originally from Romania, and Oriol originally from Barcelona. They make such wonderful music. It's been a wonderful week for me to check out all the music that they make. I've been on their websites. If you haven't been to their websites, this is a good opportunity to pivot from here to check out what they have to offer. It's incredibly, it's incredibly powerful music that is influenced by jazz, but also the places from which they come and the places where they live. And I'm just going to basically turn it over because we've got experts here talking about improvisation, and I want to hear what they have to say. So, gentlemen, welcome. And if you need me, I will. I'll do whatever you need. And if you don't, that's fine too. So,
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jay.
Jay. Welcome, everybody. First of all, as Jay said, we're very happy to be here to present not only the workshop but also the committee. We are fresh co-chairing this with Alex Simu, whom was my mentor until last July. So this is a fantastic opportunity to share thoughts about improvisation, how to work on it, what is our perspective, etc. So I give the word to Alex, and then we get started.
Thank you, Oriol. So even before we start, I would encourage all of you that are here in the virtual room to open your camera to see you. It doesn't matter if you're not in the perfect background. The workshop is literally for you. It's not like a general workshop about improvisation. We literally thought of, talking with you, playing with you. So please feel free to open the camera. I mean, if you're not shy, and ask your questions, because that's actually the first thing I thought. Since we are few enough, you actually get the chance to answer the question: do you think it's difficult to improvise? Or what do you think is difficult about improvisation? Um, would you like to answer that in just few words? You can just speak. You don't have to raise the hand or something.
Okay, I'll go. So I used to think it was difficult to improvise because I was trying to improvise in the jazz tradition, and I thought that I had to learn all of the chord changes and understand everything fully before I felt like I could confidently improvise in jazz. But then I sort of started doing more free improvisation and experimental improvisation, kind of structured improvisations and things like that. And I came like full circle to realize that we're all born learning, knowing how to improvise. We do it as children all the time. And I believe if we can tap into that spirit of just exploration and play, that it's very easy and anyone can do it. So that's just my perspective.
Wow, very nice, Rachel. Wow, you're an improviser. How about the
Yeah.
others? Would you like to share or
oh,
answer or
I'm
say?
happy to share. My fear is always that I'm going to play something that sounds dumb and I'm going to be embarrassed. And I there's a low grade concern about that when I'm reading music or I'm playing music that I've memorized. But then there's only the chance I'm going to make a mistake, right? I will at least have a plan. But when I don't have a plan, or my plan is emerging in real time, I do get very concerned that I'm going to play something that's going to embarrass me or sound like, oh my God, how could somebody have played that? That something so bad that even my mom would be embarrassed by it, something like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Jay.
I personally can't get out of my own head. I just spend too much time. I've had a couple tracks with a friend, and I record, and he's like, "How would you do? You want to take a turn just doing some improvisation along this chord progression?" And I'm like, and then I write it all out. because I don't trust my ear enough to actually be able to feel comfortable in that setting.
Thank you, Jessica. Anybody else? Bilur, I see Dale. Only if you like to. So yes, looking at these things. Oh, very nice, Oriol. So we prepared. Oriol did a wonderful slideshow, and together we will try to follow also through, but also just look at some of the main elements. So, Oriol, can you for a moment take off the presentation, please?
Yes.
So I'm going to sort of try to break it down to the core element of what improvisation is. And I'm counting now behind myself living 40 years of improvisation. I started improvising when I was literally a baby. And after that, I started to learn music. So first I was improvising. And after teaching for so many years improvisation, what I came down to is that actually the only difficult aspect of improvisation is that you have to generate music. That's what is really difficult. Everything else, actually, you already know. I mean, if you play the clarinet and you've done any kind of school, or even you did a conservatory, all the other elements, you have already mastered them. So then, of course, I had plenty of musicians that studied classical clarinet or classical formation for any other instruments, and they were very shocked, like, how come I can play, but why I cannot improvise? I mean, what is the switch? So the main switch is that you have to get comfortable with generating music, and that means generating meaning. And within that, the first thing you should not do is compare what you generate with all the great music you have been playing and listening to. Because otherwise it's like comparing a baby to a grown-up. You don't give him a chance to grow up. It's like, you're good for nothing, you know, you just, you don't do so well. Sure, Bilor, no worries. If you have time to go home, we will be here. So that is the main challenge, to switch from reading the music, remembering the music and performing it, to generating music. And this cell is very powerful because I was looking around into where or how do we relate to communicating and to language. And I found out that Heidegger, the philosopher, he was very fond of the idea of language. I mean, Plato as well. But long story short, as a general question that we need to ask ourselves, and you need to ask yourself, is how well would you be able to recite a poem or say the lines of a theater play if you actually cannot speak the language that the poem is written in fluently, and you don't know its expressions and meanings, so you just learn, for example, you don't speak any French, but you learn a Baudelaire poem. I mean, how much are you going to relate with it, with its phonetics? And of course, you will be afraid not to make a mistake. So just as a forward idea, if you get hold of this generating power and understanding the language of music in terms of generative process, that will totally change the way you perform everything you have been performing until now, plus because you can generate in case you run out of the original score, you might as well fill in yourself, which was the case for all the great composers. So this is like a introduction bonus. So then I will ask Oriol. So we prepared for you a couple of exercises. We're going to go into playing, and we will try to improvise on the spot because, well, everybody's in his own room. So whatever you play, we cannot hear you unless you are brave and you want to play for us. And we would love to hear that. But Oriol, would you like to talk about the drone exercise and intervals?
Yes, exactly. So following up Alex's explanation, one of the, and also talking to Jay, we were concerned and we were reflecting a lot on how to explain improvisation to, as Alex said, to people that already play, and are mostly professional clarinet players that belong to any other style which is not one that requires improvisation for a professional manner. No, then we were saying with Jay and Alex that we are very used to the scheme of reading whatever that reading is. We are used to decode it, that we do it with our brains, education, culture, etc. And then we are used to play. No, we try to do, we recreate this process because of our teachers, environment, etc. And what we try to do today is a little invitation to a different way of thinking, not so much a technique, not so much a specific pill we are gonna take today so we know how to do it. It's more a frame, an invitation to think a bit differently and to, as Alex said also, to rethink whatever style we do. And for that, I would like to quote one of the geniuses in music, which is Mozart himself, because we usually think that improvisation belongs to jazz or belongs to other styles of music, but actually, in one of the letters he wrote to his father when he was, well, he was always young actually, but in his youth, he said he was almost premiering an opera, and then he said, man, the singer is not able to improvise an introduction that sounds like anything, and his playing is so irregular. Like that was the letter from Mozart to his father, and that for me give me goosebumps to think that already the classical music, the person that actually represents, or one of the people that represent the most classical music, were true improvisers, where it was not only a possibility, it was a necessity, a professional necessity, that he was actually disappointed and annoyed that the singer couldn't have this ability. So having said that, we prepared with Alex, we thought to start the workshop into looking to several aspects rather than one full topic, several aspects that give us immediate tools to do something about it. Immediate tools that if we start the clarinet, we can also sing. We always have the voice. So whatever we have to start right away with some practical exercise, or if you are probably are also teaching, if you want to do it with your students, etc. So those are food for thought. And we can start with the first exercise that connects to what Alex was saying, the capacity of generation, the capacity of generating. So we're gonna start with an exercise that is generating a melody, and to put some context, we are gonna put a drone in key concert key is gonna be in B flat. So for clarinet, B flat clarinet is obviously C. So we're gonna play this, and then everybody can, in their own, if we all mute ourselves, we can try to play on it, and then we give some thought. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to be here.
Oriol, don't mute your microphone, because then we don't hear the drum anymore. You can play the improvisation. So how did it go?
Did you hear the drone? Did you hear the, like, was it?
We didn't hear you, but the drone was very good. So let's have some reactions. How did it feel? Would you like to play for us what you were droning on? Is there enough power already? Or before we do that, let's backtrack just a little bit. To try to exemplify what I was saying just a few moments ago about generating. So what if we would reduce the improvisation down to being able to stand behind one note, right? It's a very different process. It's not practicing long notes, long tones, though you could apply it to long notes if you want to, but it's more that you offer an emotional state to the very note you play. And it's much easier to relate to it if we move it into a, let's say, very nice and resonant acoustic medium, like a cathedral or a nice concert hall. There, if you hit one note, that's it. It's like the beginning of whatever you want it to be. And if you cannot make that beginning, anything else with a lot more notes is not going to work. So we need to learn to stand behind at least one note or a melody, and then we can add the rest of the language. I think it's not going to work with the drone and the thing together.
That's true.
It's all right. Then if we go from one note to few notes, you basically get a melody. You might not have yet much rhythm or a sense of time, but you need to stand behind all the notes that you will be offering. So how do you do this? The main thing is, don't start thinking. All right? So if you start playing and you start thinking, it's not going to work. You start playing and you listen and feel the notes you're playing. Sounds a bit like, how would you call it? New age concepts, but this is it. If you cannot hear one note that you're playing, how you're going to hear the entire sonata? I mean, by bar 7, you're going to be thinking about the pizza or like whatever you're having for dinner. So who would like to try it? Like few notes and you just
I
stand
can
behind
start
them.
trying. You didn't hear me before, right? When I was playing with a drone?
No.
Oh, okay. I think it should work now. Do you hear me?
Rachel or Jay, would you like to just play? Oriol. We hear the drone, but the clarinet doesn't come when you play the drone.
So
Yes, you can just play, yeah. Not the drone, you. Very beautiful. Don't get intimidated by the language. All right. So he threw in some Latin clarinet language. So the first thing is like, well, but I don't have language. That's why it's good to start with sales. Who else would like to play a bit?
I guess I can play a little bit of what I was doing.
Please.
I was also feeling the minor mode thing.
Beautiful. So what about if I tell you that this could be the perfect theme for a new clarinet sonata? Why not? So what makes the difference between this and the theme of Brahms or Poulenc is just that he chose it. It's very logical that you cannot have supremacy on melodic content. You cannot say this melody is superior to the other one. It's totally impossible. But yes, what you can have more or less is choosing to stand behind it.
Well, yeah, one thing I was noticing about playing with the drone too, and thinking about with students is that, when they first start out improvising, limitations are super helpful. And I think that's what you're talking about too, limiting, to the drone, maybe even just playing one note, maybe playing two notes. But I really love the drone idea because it takes away the having to generate, I guess, like melodic direction and dissonance, because it's kind of already there. So you're sort of led already to a starting point and an ending point, at least if you want it to, sound like a complete thought that starts and ends in some sort of diatonic tonality. So anyway, I like that idea of sort of taking out the limitations, or adding limitations, taking out choices so that you can focus on a smaller subset of choices.
Very nice. The key element in this, at all stages, but already at this stage, is to be able to hear what you play. If you cannot hear it, you are not able to hear what comes next. So the reason why we make it so simple is that you get courage to hear whatever it is that you're hearing inside. And if all of a sudden you hear something very sophisticated, well, that's great. Just play it. And if you cannot play it, figure out how to play it. I remember when I started playing jazz that I was hearing far more complex stuff that I could play on the saxophone. So I was like, okay, I have to find a way to get it into the horn. It meant that I had not practiced by then all the scales and chords and all these things which come much later. So until here, do you have any question before we move to a next possible improvisation exercise? No. So then let's look into usage of rhythm. Oriol, would you like to speak and explain about this?
Yeah, the concept of rhythm. So I would like that this is another workaround, which means that everybody let's do it the other way. Let's play rhythm, and then we see how we polish that a little bit. So anyone who wants to start with a rhythm? Maybe
Maybe Jay.
Jessica or Rachel again. Like let's do it the other way. Maybe Jay also.
Sure. Well, so what do we need? Like how long of a rhythm are we looking at?
Rhythm, whatever rhythm means to you at this point. Just improv, like the frame that Rachel was talking about. So let's put that frame into rhythm. So improvise with rhythm. Let's see where that brings us.
Okay. I'm going to imagine the drone is still playing. I think I'm on original sound. All right. So my rhythm ultimately is going to be. Something like that.
Really good, man. This sounds totally legit.
I fake it really, really well.
No, really. I mean, what are you talking about? This is like. This is like a theme from some series or something.
No, it sounds like a 50s TV show for sure. It's nice.
Very
I like what
nice.
you do with it. Yeah.
So why don't you do a bit more with it? So what we have in mind is that now you focus on making that rhythm happen.
Okay.
So you don't give up on it too quickly.
Okay. Right, because I was aware as it was happening, I would let the second half of the rhythm go quite frequently. The first half of the rhythm came back every two measures like it was supposed to, or like I intended it to. Right. Now I can't remember what my rhythm was. Bam, tonic, done.
Very nice. Very nice. So what would change here a lot, and of course, is how we treat our relationship with rhythm. In generally speaking, if we are not holding on to a parameter, then that parameter starts to fluctuate. So then we're not able to create a statement. Are you sure about this or you're not? So when we come down to rhythm, that translates into the steadiness of a tempo.
Okay.
So even if we are not moving that far away as to put that rhythm or tempo into a style, be it a bossa nova or swing or, I don't know, choro. You have so many styles that have very steady rhythm. The question is, can we generate steady rhythm? How far our attention for rhythm will be steady? So you can sacrifice the notes, but give a lot of energy to the rhythm to be steady.
Okay, so would you like me to do it again?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay. I just want, if you start letting me play the clarinet, I might just play it for the rest of the time. So if the kids want to make sure
Sure.
it's cool. All right.
Let's try it again. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I will try to give you an example on the same
Sure.
idea.
Okay.
So
Uh, yeah, go ahead.
what I intended is that I so in other words, I figured out that if you keep a rhythm steady and you plant things in it, it becomes the improvisation stands together.
Well, I noticed that when you played and the rhythm, it was steady and like it was, the rhythm was not something that you were choosing, right? It was already laid out. You were
Yeah.
able to quite easily fit in things that could be moved easily up and down in a way that took the harmony where you wanted it to go, and it was very in control, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I used a bit of harmony, but I mainly stayed on a C scale.
No,
Let's
absolutely.
try
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Oriol,
but I could hear where it was going to go next, or I had an idea of where it was going to go next. Right.
sure,
Yeah.
but let's not jump ahead
Okay.
of the game, so we don't
Sure.
have
Sure.
harmony yet.
Okay.
So Oriol, would you like to show the rhythm possibilities so that each one of us can pick out some rhythmical possibilities?
Sure. So actually, I want to mention two things about that. I had once a colleague that said that there is music that move our head, music that move our heart, and music that moves our hips. No, and sometimes, for example, reggaeton or mainly moves our hips, but not so much our head. Maybe Tchaikovsky moves a lot our heart, but not our, or jazz moves. So what I think we are trying to do here is connect the kind of like the three of them, because when Jay was playing, or Alex now, pam pa da ba pa pi pa pa pa, whatever phrase was going on, when the rhythm was on the sweet spot, I don't know if you noticed via Zoom and whatever, doesn't matter, it's online actually, but you start to feel that your body starts to be engaged with it. And of course, we can take it a bit more onto other possibilities that move maybe a bit more our head, maybe more contemporary, if that's a valid word for that. But I think that what we are working towards in the end is this kind of trilogy, that it's the head. It needs to be sufficiently interesting for with our knowledge that we bring, our luggage, musical luggage, our heart, because we are working with our intuition. What Jay, you said about Alex, that you could feel where it was going next. And I don't think it's you can label it harmony, you can label it form, whatever, but it's more about the intuition, the capacity of grabbing the tension to be, I want to go there, and therefore the audience goes there with me because I'm aware that I'm playing that, no? And the hips, because we ultimately also want to engage in music with our bodies, whatever that being classical, or when you hear Mozart, that it's alive, it's fresh, it's sparkling. You are in a concert and you feel alive. And sometimes you hear Mozart, you are like, it doesn't go there. So this kind of magic spot, and then we try to reduce it. We try to be, okay, so what are the rhythm possibilities? If you think about it, if we think about, I'm searching for it in the presentation. So if we think about the rhythmic possibilities that actually exist, a la breve writing, whatever our background is, and we put a 2/4, we only got binary subdivision in eighth notes. We only got these possibilities. There are no more. Of course we have triplets, quintuplets, etc. But if we keep up to the possibilities of eighth notes within a 2/4, that's it. That's all it is, including silence, etc. No. So Alex, that was what you asked.
Yes. So what to do with this? Let's again play, each one of us, if you have the clarinet ready, and pick out your favorite cell and try to follow how you can stick with it. You need to stick with it for at least about half a minute to 1 minute for the rhythm to settle in, to produce a cadence. Otherwise, it's a little bit as if I would play you a long note, but it's actually very short. So it's like, well, it's not long enough. So with the rhythm, in order to start being felt, you need to give it a bit more than 20 seconds. So you can pick out even 2 cells and join them together. And to give you an example, I can join or I can just do, for example, 37. You understand? So I will mute myself now, and each one of us can take 1 minute. All right. How did it go, or how is it going? Rachel, would you like to play for us? Or Jessica, are you still there? Would you like to play? This is the chance to break in an improvisation. No?
I would love to hear Jessica play.
You totally put me on the spot like that, wouldn't you? All right. I'm looking at 38, 39. So
Oh, nice.
it's kind of bossa nova feel a little bit.
Very nice. Very, very nice. So we have to make something very clear. Practically, how you feel when you play that, how you feel, and what you say about it right after you finish, that's what it is. Nobody else can set the value of our statement. So even if I say that was great, but inside you say, well, that was okay, then that's what it will be. So what I'm trying to portray here is that the value of each one of us improvising and improvisations is given about how we value them. if we do not find a way to value what we can produce and stand behind it and present it with full confidence and enjoy it. I mean, basically, the audience can feel whatever you feel. So, one question is, okay, how do I get to enjoy what I'm playing? Right? So, playing a little bit more of that. And you can add into that whatever you want. Why does this have any meaning, or why is it important to be able to generate rhythm for so long? It's because in majority of the music styles where you have to improvise, it will happen within a frame. And you have to remain aware of that frame. So until one becomes aware of, okay, I'm producing a note, I'm giving it a vibe, I'm producing rhythm, being aware of like a sequence of chords to be able to plant in it all these melodies and things, it's going to look like alien stuff, you know? So then if we look at what Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven, they were doing, they were basically improvising fugues on the spot. So they would take a theme, and then, I mean, I wonder if somebody at this point, contemporary with us, is able to do that. How many musicians in our times are able to sit down at an instrument and improvise a fugue? I'm seriously curious. I would suspect perhaps Brad Mehldau could do something like that, but I don't know of many musicians that would sit down and improvise a fugue. So that means you're not just remaining aware of the melody you just stated, you remain aware of the rhythm, you remain aware that it's going to come in another voice, and then what the other hand is doing, it has to be, you know, it's like you're improvising for 3-4 people in the same time. So anyone else would like to play a bit on the rhythm thing, or is it clear, the idea?
Rachel, you said you would like to play before, or would be lovely to hear you.
Okay, I'll play a little what I was doing, I guess. So I was working with 33 and 34.
Very nice and very steady. Do you feel brave to plug into this rhythm a pentatonic scale?
Sure, yeah, I can try to do that.
So take any pentatonic scale you're comfortable with. Yes, try first to establish the rhythm and then gradually start using the pentatonic.
bravissimo.
Very nice. It can continue. So everything stays in place and you're just having fun making colors with it.
It sounds like a
This
little Daphnis and Chloe in there.
you see,
I love that.
it can come very easy. So let's move into the final attempt for what we prepared for you, and that's it. And that is plugging, using these two ideas into a context. And I chose a very easy context, and that is Oriol. Perhaps could you take out the presentation? Thank you. Improvising with a pentatonic scale in a pop song. Why pop songs? Because they are, I mean, in our days, many of them don't use many chords. And whoever uses chords, they are transferred to jazz music, like. So I picked up Dua Lipa. You know this?
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life.
So, spoiler, it stays the whole tune in B minor. So for us, a C sharp minor pentatonic right? Try it on the clarinet, C sharp minor. If I play the music, you hear it loud enough? So we have 2 or 3 modes to go on top of it. One, long notes or slow melodies, even out of time. Second mode, try putting in a rhythm. And now, of course, if you put in a rhythm, you have to hang in with their rhythm and their tempo. And third mode, total freedom. Mix up the pentatonic how you want, subdivisions. Okay?
If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby. But you go, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. You're so I need you. All night, come next to me. I'm levitating. You're so I need you. I'm one of the greatest, ain't no debating on it. I'm still levitated, I'm heavily medicated. Ironic, I gave him love and they end up hating on me. She told me she loved me and she been waiting. Fighting hard for your love and I'm running thin on my patience. Need someone to hug, even took it back to the basics. You see what you got me out here doing? Might have threw me off, but can't nobody stop the movement. Let's go, left foot, right foot, levitating. Pop stars, do a leap with the baby. I had to lace my shoes for all the blessings I was chasing. If I ever slip, I'm falling into a better situation. So catch up, put some cheese on it, get out and get your bread up. They always leave me the parties you run together. Weight of the world on my shoulders, I kept my head up. Now baby, stand up, cause girl, you want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. My Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you. You're my star.
We stop it for a second to add the final extra detail. Let's try it a little bit more, but now try breaking away from the C sharp minor pentatonic and see what happens. I mean, of course, we could have, you know, when you go into possibilities, now we have a harmonic frame which stays around C sharp minor for us, but we're not going to start thinking about the chord progression because that's already too much. But what about going in and out? So like tonal, atonal, like against, revolting against the thing. Shall we try that? I'll give you an example. So you stick with C sharp minor, and then you drop in whatever, other notes or another pentatonic. Or even just random notes, but you can choose to keep the rhythm or not, okay?
Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. Baby, let me take you for a
Ooh. How did that go?
That was fun. It was challenging to try to break away from the key.
Yes. So it's good to try to do it systematic. Oriol, would you like to say something about breaking away systematically from the key?
Well, for me, it's like pulling an arrow. No, it's like you pull an arrow. You know, you are in a tonality, so you are chill. Nobody's expecting you. You pull an arrow, which is where you are out, and in the moment you release it, you go to the C sharp minor. It's like wow, you know, like. No, it's a little bit like it's like well, we guys don't have so much boxing around here, but that's when I look boxing, it's what I how it would sound, you know, like they go like that, and in the punch is when they go back to the Dua Lipa original stuff.
Very nice. Are there any questions or things to share? Then we can.
So I guess
Yes.
I've got a question. So
Yes.
it seems like we're kind of jumping ahead a lot for which is great. I love it. But thinking about teaching improvisation to people who maybe still haven't learned all their scales and chords and stuff, because what you're kind of asking us to do is okay, take this, immediately transpose it. Or thinking outside the key, you have to be able to think within a key first, obviously. So are there certain like exercises that you recommend people to practice to sort of have that, just learning, like you're talking about learning a language, learning the grammar, the syntax first so that they can express themselves?
Yes, I mean, definitely this last part was a very big jump ahead. If we review what we spoke about today, so first of all, being able to stand behind one note in one simple melody, generate a melody, generate one note, and keep focus on that. Then generate a rhythm. Then with holding on to a rhythm and remaining aware of this expressive capacity that we talked about behind a melody or a note, all the other, let's say, music theory material, gradually, as one learns it, it can be put to play. So, for example, if we have a student that knows only one scale or one pentatonic scale, obviously for playing on Dua Lipa is enough. You can get away with one pentatonic. You have two, you could do La Cucaracha. So then you have two. If you have, the more you have, the more they can enter the game. However, if there is not this courage to generate music, no matter how much material you have, it's just not happening. So think about it. I mean, everybody that studied conservatory, they have all the keys in their pocket, all the scales, all the I mean, they don't let you get in if you don't play all of them. So then all that material is subject to a little bit like, yes, you can think about any kind of material that instead of leaving it alone, you take it and you mess around with it in all sorts of ways. That's and I mean, about what to learn first, it's very debatable. Whatever you like to teach them, that's practically the way to go. If they learn scales or arpeggios or pentatonics or even any song that they learn, it can be turned into an improvisation itself. So how about, if you learn Twinkle Twinkle, that in itself has rhythm. So they can either first generate something around rhythm, then they can generate something around the key, and then as if you'd ask them to make your own Twinkle Twinkle. And the younger, the better they are at it. Like I had a pupil that she was 9, and she was like, I made my own. It's like, yeah, that's yours now.
I would add to this.
Yes, please, Oriol. I was about to ask.
So, like, we hope that this session, also the discussion with Jay about, how usually improvisation is taught and how actually we learn it as students probably, is that it's mainly from a classical perspective, which means like, okay, I'm gonna buy the method of how to improvise, no? And then any book you take from the library, major scale, pentatonic, minor scale, bebop scale, embellishment. No, it kind of, we think about pyramids. We think about, knowledge A leads to B, leads to C. It's like Closet or Miller, any etude, number 1, number 2, number 3. But in my opinion, improvisation doesn't work like that so much because it's not about the level in the end. It's about the relationship you have with the material, is everything we spoke about. So one thing that we were mentioning with Jay actually is maybe you can also, one of the exercises, okay, I'm gonna play this exercise sitting down. I'm gonna play the Twinkle Twinkle, but not wrong in terms of notes, like kind of like weird sounds, no? Like it can also be kind of like what happens in a concert or in a rehearsal that we are ashamed, like let's play it in fear, no? Like with squeaking and all the clarinet stuff, no? also part of improvisation. Like, but the key here is that it's intentional. It's learning. It's making the student feel I'm directing with the thought or with the feeling what I want to achieve. Like if I played, and actually it's not playing it wrong. It's playing in that particular flavor as it would be food, no? So if I'm playing it, let's assume wrong with squeaks or whatever, it doesn't sound so well. It becomes my choice. So then I can choose, I can select, and so that would be one of the things. Or then as a clarinet, I think we are not used to experiment with the sound. We are very much focused doing long notes or whatever, but we can also try one long note, kind of like with a classical embouchure. No vibrato, no? So if we play Twinkle Twinkle, but we can also play like Sidney Bechet. Or we can play, like, so kind of the imitation. And this is where the imitation, and Rachel, you mentioned it before, what was fantastic, the frame of mind. So I always try to actually research a bit, every opportunity I have to be, okay, how we can transpose this to the situation or the knowledge we have, as Alex mentioned, no? Whatever that be the level, if it's amateur or professional, because it's what you, Alex, said it in the beginning, that many classical players, for example, cannot do a fugue or so it's translating it. Like, first of all, everybody can do it because everybody can play one note. That's the principle. And everybody can play silence. It can also be the Simon could be play Twinkle Twinkle with all silences. That could also be one exercise. So we can all do it, and then it's about the frame. And the frame, in my opinion, it's also pentatonics, all that stuff, but there are so many more frames that we always forget about. Or, for example, I was explaining, Jay, that when I was young, I used to practice at my home in the entrance of the house because my brothers would be bothered and stuff. So I would go in the entrance of the house, and there was a lot of reverb. And I used to love it. I used to love not so much the content of the playing, but more the effect it had on me. So later on I realized, wait a second, if I improvise in a reverby space, that can be the toilet, that can be like anywhere available in the house, the entrance of the house, the garage, or I can put headphones and with Logic or any program recreate that sensation. It puts me in the frame that I speak freely. I speak like this kid that used to go in my parents' house and try stuff. So also allowing the frame that fits the best ultimately to what you want to express in the end. That would be a bit my conclusion of today, and a little bit like planting the seeds for later on deciding, okay, I'm going to learn about sound, or I'm going to learn about acoustic possibilities, or I'm going to learn about pentatonics. But then you get the book about pentatonics, but you don't get the book about improvisation. You get the book about the specific thing. And here is where you go really to the gym and, you build up. That's in my opinion, of course.
Well, I just want to add, from a middle school band teacher's perspective, the idea of information transfer and where the information starts and where it goes. The ordering is just switched in improvisation. And I can know this intellectually, but that doesn't give me the actual immediate ability to improvise in a way that I feel comfortable with. I mean, anybody can improvise, but is it structured? Does it make sense? Going back to what Alex said, early on, like if you were asked to perform a theater piece in a language you don't know, you might be able to be taught the words, but you wouldn't exactly know what they mean. And it would be a long time before that all actually happened. And I feel like that knowing that I actually have the knowledge and ability to improvise effectively, and it's just a matter of taking the ordering that the information comes, and it comes from my ears first rather than from my eyes to my ears and then out. It's just a matter of time and practice, just like learning a language, which we talk about frequently when we talk about learning music. But just to say that, like, there does need to be some patience and some willingness to say the wrong words, and say a word that you think is the right word, but then you find out, no, that actually meant something offensive, right? And just be able to have patience and tolerance, and that's something that particularly as an adult can be very, very challenging, right? Because one of the things that I think is true for kids, I know it's true for adults. We believe if we understand something, that then all of a sudden we'll be able to do it in some way. And that actually isn't really true, and particularly something complicated like music, right? So it does take time. It does take all these exercises that are real. This was an incredible hour of exercises that take information we already have and then cultivate an ability that was latent within us, that then we can then, it turns into something that's entirely different, even though it was already there the whole time. And I think that's a really special thing. And yeah.
Well, I want to thank all three of you for working to put this session together. This is incredibly valuable. And speaking from personal experience, I really learned a lot about how not to be so hard on myself and to just take things a little bit at a time, especially when I'm teaching this concept. So please let us know if you're watching the session or if you watch this in post. If there's other things you'd like to learn from Alex and Oriol and Jay in the future, we'd love to have them back to do another session on something similar or continuation of this topic. But thank you all so much for sharing your expertise. I have to try to get around that Dua Lipa copyright strike, but we'll do what we can with that. That was really, really great. So thank you all so much. And we will see you again in the next couple of weeks with another Lunch and Learn. Please check the ICA's website for the upcoming schedule. September is absolutely packed with Lunch and Learn sessions on Saturday. So we'll see you soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, everybody.